It was during the early days of unions.
As one of our first objective workers, we need to get an 8-hour workday. Now I know in Chicago they technically enacted a law requiring 8-hour workdays, but it didn't really happen like all those other government promises. So we need to go on strike.
8 hours? Like, that'll never happen. That's shorter than a charter workday.
No, we can do this. If we don't get it by May 1st, 1886, we'll go on strike.
Yeah!
Through negotiation, over 50,000 workers in Chicago actually achieved this goal.
Huh.
Meanwhile, in Chicago, striking workers in the McCormick Harvester Company had been locked out for months.
Strike! 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 Strike!
Strike! Strike! Strike! Strike!
Then, people would still not achieve the 8-hour workday, added their numbers to the strike.
Strike! 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 Strike!
Several people were killed by the police yesterday, Fisher. This isn't right.
We're meeting tomorrow at Haymarket Square to protest this. You should come and make a speech. There'll be a few other speech makers. And so we need to stand up for our rights and make sure that...
Excuse me, this strike must disperse immediately and peaceably.
This is a peaceable meeting.
No, I mean leave now.
Confusion!
In the confusion, someone threw a bomb. 7 police were killed and 67 people were injured. In retaliation, the police killed 4 strikers. Although no one knew who threw the bomb, the police charged 8 anarchists: Albert Parsons, August Spies, Michael Schwab, Samuel Fielden, George Engel, Adolf Fischer, Oscar Neeb, Louis Ling, William Sliger, and Rudolf Schnabel, with murder, on the grounds that they had incited the riot that had killed a police officer. In an early example of a Red Scare, they were all rounded up and put on trial. Obviously biased jurors were chosen to hear their case.
These people met the night before the protest, and they sent out letters inviting people to the protest. And some had weapons in their houses. Clearly they were trying to lure us into a trap and force us into their violence. If the noble police had not acted when they did, even more people might have been hurt.
Can you prove that any of these people threw the bomb?
That's not the point, because they're anarchists, and anarchists are guilty.
Both sides used the opportunity to speak for their cause. The prosecution depicted anarchy as a terrible force, and the anarchists made long speeches about their disappointment with society. Still, all 8 were found guilty, 4 were executed, and 1 committed suicide. Due to these events, the public began to associate anarchy with terrorism. This change in attitude most hurt the Knights of Labor, a moderate organization which nevertheless had a few militant factions and was seen as mostly violent. Now, the AFL and other unions face an additional struggle to distance themselves from terrorism.